My words come together, putting them all together. I soar like a feather, being pulled by the weather. It's the day I become a national treasure. For the show, you wanna know, with my perfect flow, you wanna know who's gonna get this, yo. It's Cody Rhodes. Is a big star supposed to destroy the ratings? Every time I check wrestle nonsense, they keep falling. How does one work with the biggest star still be boring? If Brock Lesnar couldn't get him over, if The Rock can't get him over, I think it's time for a makeover. Put him in drag, here's a new character for you, Jack. Take Seth Rollins' gimmick, Cody, I got your back. Saw an image of you kissing Kenny Omega, you can be the new FFF.
What's with all the wars? What are they fighting for? What are they dying for? The civilians can't take anymore. They are all put under the floor. It was first Israel versus Palestine. One cares about their bloodline, the other about their culture. Far from being the Valentine, they kill each other, it's just asinine. Now we land joined to deliver the punchline. Fighting over land like it's the only way to get laid. Catching shade, the U.S. paid for Israel's success in a state. Oh great, they don't want men to be straight. The Jewish race wants us gay. What else is there to say? Oh no, here we go, another war. What are they fighting for? What's with all the wars? What are they fighting for? What are they dying for? The civilians can't take anymore. They are all put under the floor. Saber-rated people dying while children are crying. Everyone always fighting for false virtues. They're whining. They will get struck by lightning. The death of everyone in the Middle East is what's gonna happen at the very least. People acting like Iran pump the beast. Israel just killed their allies, their heads are greased. Let blood, death of people will increase. These builders are a damn disease to the world, geez. All this ethnic cleansing going on. That's it, I'm naming my son John. Oh no, here we go, another war. What are they fighting for? What's with all the wars? What are they fighting for? What are they dying for? The civilians can't take anymore. They are all put under the floor. Celebrating people dying while children are crying. Everyone always fighting for false virtues. They're whining. They will get struck by lightning.
All right, that's enough of that. Hello, everybody. It's Bowlesy. Or none of you. That's fine. I'm not expecting too much anyway. Probably the last stream I do. Because, right. Like, so I'm just gonna have fun with it, though. So, maybe not last stream, but I might just get tired of it trying. So, but either way, I did want to talk about Iran versus Israel because that's the new whole spiel of what's going on. Okay. So, so let's find this thumbnail. Let's find this thumbnail. There it is. Let's say, I don't know why I got it to portrait. I should change it back to like landscape. But either way, this is the talk. Israel versus Palestine. I'm glad that everybody has tuned in to see this. Why do I got 9 viewers? Huh. That's funny. But either way, yeah. Welcome everybody. It's Bowlesy. Israel versus Iran. So recently, Iran has attacked Israel, and I'm thinking we need an actual breakdown and an honest take about like Israel versus Palestine, right? Well, not Palestine, Israel versus Iran. I keep thinking Israel versus Iran. So let me just full screen this shit. There we go. Captions and shit. Let's look at it. You know, man. Either way, Israel versus Iran. So I'm surprised that nobody started commenting yet, but I'm sure you guys just waiting for the comments. So thanks for tuning in, I suppose. So, where do we start with? Iran attacked Israel. Okay. So, let me just show you something, and this is kind of gives you kind of an idea why it did. Hold on, let me find this thing. There it is. Let me find it. There it is. If you can see it at all. Come on. So basically, like I should really put this on landscape. But anyway, in an unprecedented attack, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and the Iranian army launched an approximately 180 missiles at Israel. Iran claimed responsibility for targeting three Air, Air Force bases, Mossad headquarters, in retaliation for the assassination of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. The new Islamic Republican Guard Corps commander in Syria, Lebanon, and the senior Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. Now, at best, at best, that's just at best that gives you an idea of why Iran attacked Israel. But let's talk about the proxy war they've been having, because apparently that's been going on ever since then. Like this was like back in 1979, and like Iran had a lot of militia groups that they were supporting at the time. One of those was the Hamas group, and that was what Israel was fighting. And that was the militia group that Hamas was, I believe, was located in Gaza. And there, Israel and Palestine are still in fights, by the way. So Iran launched their missile. Israel was able to deflect some of those missiles at the time. So there's that. But why would Iran attack Israel? Well, like like uh, like if Palestine, this is an ongoing conflict. If you remember the Six Day War, Israel launched an attack on Egypt. So, and this is weird because like I don't know if it was actually Egypt, but the War was between Israel Jewish versus Arab. And what happened was Israel did already had control of some of Jerusalem, but Palestine at the time still had Eastern Jerusalem. Israel was able to gain control of all of Jerusalem. So therefore, when they did that, they were able to make that their capital. And when they did that, that's when the United States decided to try to do the Band Aid frickin' whatever Abraham Lincoln, of course, to try to settle peace. Shit like that. Keep in mind, Israel had the backing of the United States military at the time. That started with 1948, and the Six Day War took place in 1967. Now, granted, the U.S. didn't directly have any involvement in that, but they certainly did play a hand in that. So there's that. Now, as far as the proxy war goes, um, this was already a ongoing conflict. Iran attacking Israel is kind of a no brainer and shit, especially them killing one of their allies. So it's just like, fuck you. Especially going to war with Palestine and the militia group of Hamas attacking Israel and the Israel attacking Hamas. It also makes sense of why Iran would even involve themselves in the first place. This whole shit is just like over something like land, but at the same time, for Iran, it's not necessarily land. It's more about It's more about proxy, kind of like connections to militia groups. Israel is not a big fan of these same groups, though. I mean, Israel has connections with the United States and Russia, so there's one thing. How long am I gonna go? Not too long. I do have notes of this, basically, which I should look into. Also, like, there's one case where Israel wants something in Syria. I'm not really sure what it is, but it had something to do with Iran attacking Israel as well. So yeah. So how's my nobody views coming in? Yeah. Oh, just fine. Let's go back to this. Am I gonna still be here? Give me a sec. sorry about that. StreamYards took me out when I went to my notes and shit. StreamYards is really weird. Yeah, so I have it all right here. Yeah, so like Hamas in Gaza, while not exclusively an Iranian proxy, Hamas was received support from Iran, especially in terms of military technology and funding. The attack on October 7, 2023 by Hamas, which led to significant casualties in Israel, is part of the ongoing proxy conflict. The Houthis in Yemen, this is also part of the proxy things. We're going over the proxy people. Yemen is also like another militia group. People might call it terrorist. Iran supporters the Houthi rebels who have been involved in the Yemen civil war. I'm not sure what exactly the Yemen civil war is, but that's a different topic, probably. The Houthis have launched numerous attacks against Saudi Arabia, a close ally of the US, and by extension implicated in a border Israel-Iran rivalry. They've also targeted shipping in the Red Sea, which indirectly affects Israel interests. Also, Iraq militaries, and yeah, we already kind of know about the Iraq shit. Groups like Kataib's, Hezbollah, and others in Iraq, while part of the Iraq security apparatus, also received support from Iran. Understanding that Iran has a lot is pretty powerful compared as far as what I read. I'm not sure if they even have nuclear weapons. I don't think they do. But if they do at all, I mean, they can't compete with Israel. That's just kind of the way it is. They've been involved in attacks against U.S. forces, which I don't really believe necessarily, because like at the same time, the United States is an extremely powerful country. So, like one, if they are involved into that, the United States have been stalling, just kind of biding time so they can make more money off the war. But if they were, it would have to do with something in the Middle East during like the time that we were still in the Middle East at war. Not really anymore, though. There's Biden and launching retaliatory airstrikes at the Middle East, so there's that. Next to consider the forces in the region, which indirectly relates to Israel-Iran tensions due to U.S.-Israel alliance. Syria, Iran. What's my dog barking at? Hold on. Yeah. A. So where were we? We're watching. I wonder if my stream hears my voice. That's an important part. Hold on. Check my audio. Yeah, sure. Yeah, there we go. We are heard just fine. Yeah, really. We'll just get through this, pile through this, and I'll give my thoughts on this. So let's go back to where I was. Syria. Iran uses Syria as a corridor for arms transfer to Hezbollah, and has supported the Assad region, which Israel sees as a threat due to the proximity and the potential for Iran to establish a permanent military presence near its borders. So, yeah, we'll get to details with this one. Stay tuned because I'm going to continue with this whole shit. There's the strategic things I got down, but that's not really important. Though I could talk about the perspectives of Israel and Iran. I don't think that's necessarily important either, because their perspectives don't really matter. It's kind of like the observation and the facts, I'll say, that matter the most. But I only talk about this because I think it's a big thing and I want to talk about it. The border impact, though, because borders are important. I don't feel like talking about that either. Right. Context of the attack, I could do that too. Well, the context of the attack I already gave. Iran launched a substantial aerial assault on Israel, and 180 missiles was launched, like I said before, and Israel was able to do this. And this is another thing. This was in retaliation for previous, and this is why Iran launched attacks on Israel. This was in retaliation for previous Israel strikes on the Iranian consulates in Syria, showcasing a cycle of retaliatory violence. Now, I'm not too sure about the whole Syria thing. It's not much really emphasis given on it. They said this. They also said the attack was unprecedented in a scale from Iran directly targeting Israel territory. Right, despite the large number of projectiles, the majority were intersected by Israel's defense systems, with assistance from the U.S., UK, and France. Which I'm surprised Russia wouldn't really include in that. But like I said before, Israel has its own connections. U.S. being the main one. Israel is a pretty powerful country just due to its connections with them. As far as Iran goes, it's not even as powerful as Israel. But as far as their connections to like the Hamas, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, military militias, well, Iran has a lot of connection to militias that would be considered terrorists in the United States. Yemen, right? Which is funny because Yaman isn't. Well, I was about to. I was thinking of Yahweh for a second, so we'll talk about that. So there. Uh, yeah, the G7 nations and other nations condemned Iran's actions, warning against further escalation, illustrating global concern over the stability of the region, post-attack dynamics. Despite this spectacle and attacks effectiveness in terms of physical damage was limited due to advanced missile defense systems like Iron Dome, David Sling, and Arrow systems, along with international support. However, it served as a political statement and a test of Israel's defense. The event has been even seen by some as an Iran flexing its military muscles, showing its regional influence, and testing the waters of international response to direct aggression against Israel. Now, there is plenty about it that I haven't got noted. Plenty. But the one thing I do like to well take notes, and I think the biggest note is again, like Palestine and Israel, this is an ongoing conflict. This has been going conflict since Israel was established as a state. This isn't just Palestine versus Israel. This is like Islam versus Jewish, basically. And overall, when I talk about this, it's just like one, when people like to look at this, they kind of think like Iran bad because terrorists, but Israel has its own terrorist group. That's what people don't like to acknowledge. Hamas, okay, people like to call them a terrorist group. Not necessarily. Sure, I mean they are a terrorist group, but there's a lot of young people in the United States that, for some odd reason, supports Hamas. Iran supports Hamas, right? And it's seen as a militia group, like I just read. They are seen as a militia group. And they support also things like Iraq militias. And keep in mind, some of these people, things I'm bringing up, like Egypt, Syria, uh, Palestine, Iraq, Iran, have participated in the Six-Day War. This was the Six-Day War, and Israel won that war because they were able to get some land, the whole place of Jerusalem. And that's when, like, another Abraham Accord. I'm not sure how many there are, but that's when there was another band-aid solution to it in hopes that it gets resolved. But this has never been resolved because this after that 6 Day war, 12 years later, they started having a proxy war and connections to trying to get connections from all over the world. Israel already had some connections like the British, France, Russia, United States. They already had like powerful connections they got backing of. So Iran needed to establish some connections themselves too around the proximity of like the Middle East at best. But it's not really powerful enough to even counter Israel. Israel has a very powerful just based on its connections, just based on the fact that they had the influence over these countries that are basically you could argue that are more powerful than Israel, but Israel is just very influential for God knows what reason. And this was after like World War II, where they became a state themselves. It was first Hitler trying to get them relocated and around Israel, and the Palestine did not want them. They just didn't accept them at the time. It's not like Hitler was trying to relocate them, and that's where the Holocaust and the concentration camps came from. Like, okay, we need to relocate these people. No other country wants them. Let's put them somewhere else. Let's give them a home. Something like that. This isn't saying Hitler was a good man, but he just didn't. He realized that nobody really wanted the Jews, and when that happened and when that went away, when the Axis power lost the war, the Allies were able to when I say Allies, I mean like U.S., Britain, France, and Russia. Those were the Allies. The Allies were able to get the Jewish people relocated. And the same thing place in Israel. The same place Nazi Germany was trying to relocate the Jews. Palestine accepted. We can already tell why they accepted. So that then the whole thing kind of broke down. Now, so this kind of was brewing up over the years. They started having issues, and the people that were Arabic and Islamic countries with tribalistic views did not really approve of it. So there's that, and there's a lot of ethnic cleansing that happened around the Middle East. That's also a thing to talk about. That's another topic. But I thought I'd talk about this. 22 minutes. I don't expect. Yeah. And funny enough, like I just saw like 13 people coming. So like I guess they came and go. Meh. What do you know? YouTube being weirdo. What do you expect? Thanks for tuning in, but I'm not really done yet. This might be just the last stream I do because like honestly, the YouTube stuff isn't really working. But I thought I was like, I could do this stream, right? It's not gonna hurt. It's like, why not? Why not do it? Why not? See if my voice is being heard. I ran launch attack stuff. Yeah, it worked. So there's a lot more I didn't really get to cover necessarily, which it would have been fun to cover, but there's all like the proxy wars. There's the history behind it. There's the 6 Day War that I don't really get to cover. It stems all the way back then. It just stems like start of 1948, basically, maybe even further than that. This was just never ending, and it's over. And basically, if we want to boil it down, it was over religious beliefs. In hindsight, like these same people have been killing each other over like decades, like maybe a century at best. So I covered what I want. I covered what I want. There's nothing really to review, but there is things I got a hashtag just to keep it going. Maybe I can review some of this drama. Israel, Iran. I could go to Iran. Netanyahu, who's chilling message to Kamahin. Iran earthquake was actually a nuclear test. That's interesting. What else? Live. Israel hiding damage to air base in Iranian missiles. Okay. That's another one. Israel defense minister warns Iran it may end up like Gaza. And Gaza and by the way, Gaza is neither part of Palestine or Israel, but it has some Palestine people there. That's the thing to note as well. And Gaza's a shithole. If you really read into it, it's a big fucking shithole. Excuse my language, YouTube. What else? I want to see if there's anything that needs to be reviewed. Iran cancels all flights. Israel attack anytime now. Now to talk about is just whether Israel will attack Iran or not. But what I talked about was Israel had something about like it attacking a militia leader and killing them, and that's why. And also something about Syria, which I have to do some more reading about. Like Syria is also one of those allies with Iran. Iran was able to develop a big connection, but Israel already had their connections with the frickin' world powers. That's what people need to take into account. So what else? Sergeant Philin Rose, thanks for the subscription. Where did like I'm seriously curious where did all these guys come from? Like I I had like a big number of people, like 13 at best, come in. It's like, huh? What? It was at the time I was saying, I'm not getting much anyway. Might as well just send it here, right? So let's go to war. So maybe, never mind. Civil war begins in Russia. It ignites conflict in North. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Russia. Thought they would talk about like war begins in Russia. Nobody's really talking about war with Iran and Israel and their ongoing conflict, but it is an ongoing conflict. War in Gaza. Israel attacks in Gaza. At least 37 Palestinians killed in since. Eh, yeah, they're killing each other. Well, there's nothing really to review, so I think I covered pretty much the good things about it. And if I were to cover a bit more, it would take quite a bit uh, to do some more reading. So, 27 minutes in, I had fun. Not like I was expecting a huge number of people anyway, a huge number for me at least, which was temporarily short-lived, like 13 people like threw themselves in. Maybe I do actually have 13 people and just choosing not to comment. Right, right. But either way, though, that's my take on it so far. I might do another one about this because like it needs a little bit more depth to it. But at the end of the day, I think I covered quite a good portion of it. So I don't know how anybody else feels about it. So this is what I'm thinking. I could. I want to invite somebody, and that's just anybody, but just to keep this conversation going. Right. Right. Probably should have took more notes anyway. It's my fault. Like I could have like lasted an hour if I took plenty. There we go. I would have been able to last an hour, but it spent like yeah. Yeah, there we go. So I spent 5 more minutes about it. So like I said, everything was cut, touched, everything was okay. So 5 more minutes will give or take, but there's only one person. I had a new sub out of that. Resurgent Philly Rose though. That's kind of out of the blue. I yeah. I wasn't even expecting to go that long either, too. So it's just like, I'll talk about it. But I wasn't expecting to go this short either. So anybody that wants an opinion, you can share. So like I said, I covered a good portion of it. It was fun to cover. I wasn't going to spend too long of it, but I could spend longer talking about it, and we could talk about more. So maybe there's somebody out there that could talk about it. Who knows? Who knows? I could talk all day about it with somebody, but if I were to talk all day by myself about this, it would take a whole goddamn stream. If I were to stream again, I would have to make this a part two. But that's if I do stream again. But the YouTube stuff is YouTube stuff won't work, honestly, because I don't really I want to, but I don't prioritize it. So it's not gonna matter either way. Um, but I think this is it. All right, so if that's all, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Or none of you that never left a comment for whatever reason, or just fell upon this stream somehow, some way, was like, I don't want to watch this, and moved on. Have a nice day. Bye bye.